And welcome everybody to another Tuesday night. Hope everybody's had a good couple of weeks. I somehow have lost my chat. There it is. There it is. Okay. Um, it's always the fine little details that you have to watch out for. So, as many of you know, some of you don't, I had a heat stroke many, many, many years ago. However, once you've had one, you're susceptible to heat, and that's what happened to me last week. I got heat exhaustion, uh, a pretty bad case of it. I overdid trying to get stuff done, and it was 95 degrees, and anyway. So that's what happened last week. It was also my little grandson's birthday, so happy birthday, Hoss! Big 6 years old now. And that kind of brings us to our topic for tonight was we went on vacation, took him back to his very favorite place, Great Wolf Lodge up in Kansas City. And we took him there went on his 4th birthday and now his 6th birthday. So maybe for the 8th birthday, maybe every 2 years. We had an absolute ball. We had more fun this time, I think, than we did last time, if that's even possible. And I have hours and hours and hours of filming it, right? With my little action camera, which I love this thing. However, apparently the last thing that I filmed, I tried to zoom in, and now these don't have a lot of zoom, okay? They have like 2 times, okay? So, but apparently I had zoomed in on something and never zoomed out and didn't realize it until I got to looking at the video from this trip, and I am like really zoomed in. So always be sure and check your settings. So we'll see if I'm sure I have hours and hours and hours of video, so I'm sure that I'll be able to get some usable footage, but it's probably not a lot of it's going to have me in it because it is so tight on me. And so I just now fixed it to where it's back to, not zooming. But that's just one of those things. Stuff happens and you can't really get too upset about it. So Randy made it the first one in. I've been putting up 8K videos and YouTube is having difficulty with the Panasonic S1R2 footage. Yeah, I don't think YouTube or the rest of the world, for that matter, is really ready for 8K. I don't know. I'm sure they make a monitor that does 8K, but it's probably so expensive that not many people have it. So, and the files, oh my gosh, the files would be so big. And he's saying hello to everyone. I saw one, I think it was a short, Randy, that was about Lucky. And honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I put on my calendar to not do anything today so that I could go live tonight. Because yesterday was another one of those days where I hit the ground running and was, loading and lifting a lot of weight. I probably moved close to 2 tons yesterday. And it was kind of hot, but we are getting into fall and the weather is getting a lot milder. So thank you, Jesus. But I'm almost done now. So, but I can enjoy the fall weather. I mean, I still have to mow and I couldn't do it today because it was raining, which was fine with me. I needed a day after spending a weekend with wee littles running up and down stairs and going to a water park and keeping up with a 6-year-old. He's got way more energy than I do. And he recuperates way faster than I do. So I had a very, very busy weekend, very physical weekend. And then yesterday I did, more physical. And so today I was ready for a break. And I did. I just kind of chilled most of the day. I did get the all the videos off the camera onto the computer. But and now I just have to edit through all of those. So it's been a busy couple of days. And Randy's saying hello to everyone. I don't know if I missed that one or not. Newly uploaded 8K video can take several days to fully process and become available at maximum resolution. That's kind of what I was thinking. Because I know I have foo-pooed before and done a 4K, and it takes a lot longer to upload than it does in 1080. So, and Randy's smiling. Randy says, do it early in the day or at nighttime to prevent heat stroke. Drink a lot of water also. I was chugging the water, and I started pretty early. The earliest I can get into storage is like 7 o'clock. And so I was there probably by 7:30, but with the first load. And then and I made 2 loads that day with really heavy stuff. So, it was what it was. But yes, I've been going through water like nobody's business, and constantly have either a water bottle by my side, or these insulated water bottles is what I take with me when I'm out of the house, because they keep ice cold for... I took one with me over the weekend, and it kept little man's drink cold for 2 days. So those are some really good water bottles. I've kind of been... I don't want to say researching. I've been testing out several different kinds, and the Camelback keeps stuff ridiculously cold for, like I said, for 2 days. We left on Friday and came back on Sunday, not Sunday afternoon, and now it was in a insulated backpack that had ice and stuff in it, but it kept his drink cold for, it was still cold Sunday. So that was really impressive. The ice had all melted, but the Camelback was still cold. So that's cool. Randy says, did your house sell? We have not closed yet, which is starting to concern me and my son a little bit, because it's been 3 weeks. So, and they don't have to get financing. So, normally it takes about 2 weeks if they don't have to get financing all lined up. So, yeah, we're getting a little bit concerned, but they keep telling us that the paperwork is at the lawyers. They just have to sign off on it and send it back. So, we're really hoping, Randy, that we get a call tomorrow. We keep calling them and bugging them, and I'm sure that's, probably not really appreciated, but Friday's the deadline. So we either have to file for an extension or close by Friday. So fingers crossed, prayers to the big man upstairs, all that good stuff. That will be such a huge burden off my shoulders. It has truly become an albatross. But I did have an epiphany last week, I think, or week before last. I rented a storage unit. So my duplex doesn't have a garage. It has a driveway, but it doesn't have a garage. And so right around the corner from me is a storage unit. And I've been trying to cram everything in this little bitty duplex from this great big house. And I got to tell you, it's not working. All right. I have got stuff, and I do have a little shed outside. It's still not working. I've got way too much stuff. So I rented basically a garage size unit storage, and like a single car garage. And I've been, organizing and putting everything in there. And now that everything's out of the house, I can take stuff I've brought here, take it to the storage unit, and have my little house back to where you can actually walk around and not trip over, everything. So, there's a lot of like antique furniture of my mom's that I don't want to get rid of, but I don't have any place to put it. There's no formal dining room here. At my house, I had a formal living and dining room, and it, it had furniture in it. So I've sold a bunch of stuff, but I still have excess, and I'll probably be selling stuff for the next year. But there is stuff like my mother's antique furniture I don't want to sell. I just don't have any place to put it. And so it's going to go in storage with a sheet over it and, the whole 9 yards. But it'll really free up my floor space. So I had some picture. I mean, the house in Muskogee was decorated, right? And so you bring all that stuff up here, and now I have such like I've shrunk the size by half, right? And so every inch of wall space here has something on it. Whereas down there, it was kind of spaced out and it looked, appropriate. Here, it almost looks like it's too much. Because it's just like, yeah. So, that's a lot of older people, when they downsize, that's what they face. And I have thrown away so much schoolwork and mementos of, the kids growing up, because I mean, that's just what you do as a mom. You just keep stuff, right? And so a lot of that had to go, and the kids didn't want it. I asked them, I'm like, if anybody wants this stuff, now's your chance. And, they're just neither. My son took a little bit of his stuff. My daughter didn't want any of it. So I've thrown away a lot of stuff. And then I've sold off quite a bit, like a lot, enough to buy a expensive camera. How about that? Like a Leica. But yeah, it's an ongoing process. But at least the moving part, having to move from a different city up here, now it's just right around the corner. It's a little more inconvenient than being able to walk out into an attached garage, but that's okay. I'm completely okay with that. And they're also not open 24 hours. I thought storage units that had the gate and you have to have a code and everything, I thought those were 24 hours, and this one is not. I don't know if some are, but this one is not. So, which honestly is good, because they close at 8 o'clock. You have to be out of there by 8 o'clock, which means I have to basically have my truck unloaded and out of there by 8 o'clock. Now I can come home and reload it for the next day, but I can't be working at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, which is good, because I definitely would. That's just kind of how I roll. I get where I want to get stuff done, and I'll just keep doing it to my detriment. So it's actually a good thing that they don't open until 7 and they close at 8. And so, like I said, I can come home at 8 and load the truck, but I can't be there until 7. And so it really curtails me going too overboard. And I'm the type that when I make my mind up to do something, I want to do it right then. So I want to get everything done and get it over with and just get it. Well, I'm limited to their hours. So it's kind of a blessing. Yeah. Randy says, someone's treasures are somebody's junk. Yes, true. My mother had a lot of stuff, but it paid for fixing up the house to sell. Right? So, yeah, I mean, it's, thankfully, the people that are buying the house, I don't have to fix anything, and they will remove any junk, which is great. But number one, I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of OCD, and I feel bad about having somebody clean up after me. So I've been doing all the cleanup, and plus I want to be able to go through everything in case there's something from 30 years ago that I actually still need. Like, there have been some things I have not been able to find. I've lost my Leatherman. I have no idea. I have gone through every single thing in that house and I can't find it. So I think it's just gone. I have no idea where I lost it, because I would have sworn I saw it not too terribly long ago. But I've been out of the house for over a year. So it has been longer than I think. But so one of the things, and it looks like maybe it's just Randy and me. Well, no, there's some other people. They're just not talking. Um, One of the things that I really noticed this past weekend, all of my trips up to this weekend have been flying. And you can pack so totally different when you're driving because you don't have weight restraints, you don't have size restraints. Now, it was just a weekend. It was a quick weekend, up there, spend a couple of nights and come back. But so I didn't need that many clothes, but I did need like my bathing suit, my water shoes, and stuff like that. So, but what I noticed was I didn't try to cram everything in a backpack that would fit under the seat. And it was so much more pleasant because I could kind of organize stuff. So I'll show you what I took. This cute little duffel bag. It's a 32 liter, and it's very, very lightweight. And I could put all my packing cubes in there. And so that carried all my clothes and toiletries. And then in my backpack, I had my camera stuff and electronic, cords and cables and stuff like that, and microphones, that sort of thing. So, and then my it's not in here, but one of these little things that has all my little gadgets and gizmos in it. And we use that one quite a bit. So I'm glad I had it. I don't remember now. My daughter had to write my grandson's name on something, and she's like, I don't have anything to write it with. And I'm like, well, I have a Sharpie, so it's just right here. So I was really glad that I had all that stuff, but I didn't have to try to put it in one bag that would fit under an airplane seat, and I didn't have to go through TSA. Now in comparing flying versus driving, it's about a 4.5 hour drive. Yes, you could fly there a lot faster, but by the time you get to the airport 2 hours early and you have to go through the TSA check thing and all that stuff, it's actually probably a little quicker to drive. And then once you get there, you have a car. My daughter forgot to pack several things, and so she had to run to the store several times. And then she would run out and get us dinner or lunch or breakfast, whatever. And they have a restaurant, but it's very expensive. Which is unnecessary. If you're just grabbing a quick breakfast or something, you don't want to pay $50-$60 for a breakfast. At least I don't. And so we breakfast at McDonald's, and she brought it back to the room so we could wake up gently. I'm really not a morning person. And now my grandson kind of fluctuates. Sometimes he is a morning person and sometimes he is not. So it was kind of nice to be able to wake up on our own, have breakfast brought in, eat our breakfast, take showers, get dressed, and then be ready for the day. And so I'm really kind of a proponent for this driving. Unless it's like, from here, Las Vegas is a 24-hour drive. I don't think I want to do that by myself. Although I would love to have a vehicle once I get out there, because there's a lot of backpacking stores in Las Vegas and Utah and Montana, and I would love to be able to drive up that drive. But the 24 hours to get to Las Vegas, I think it is definitely more time efficient to fly. But you are limited to the size bags that you can take. And so that I really did like not having to worry about the size of bags and the weight. And I didn't take that much, but Randy says, when I move, I find the stuff that I am missing all the time. I really, really kept thinking, if I clean out because I cleaned out every single drawer, cupboard, everything, and I really thought I would run across it, and I just never did. So, yeah, I don't know. But towards the end, I just threw stuff in boxes and moved it just to get it done. And so as I have nothing but time. And so as I'm going to go through those boxes and throw stuff out, and so maybe I'll still find it. I mean, there is nothing left in the house, so maybe I'll still find it. But it was kind of sad because I've had that Leatherman for probably 30 years, so it was kind of sad. Hal made it in. Hi, all. Hi, Hal. How are you doing? How is the weather in Florida, sir? And Flying Toast made it in. Hello. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm shopping for tools on eBay currently. Very exciting. So, Toast, let me tell you something. Apparently I can take a note out of Tim the Toolman's book because I have moved and given away more tools than I think Lowe's sells. My son took I think he took 2 or 3 sets. I have probably 6. Now, when I'm talking sets, I'm talking a full set of wrenches, full set of sockets, both SAE and metric, pliers, hammers, screwdrivers. Right now, I probably have 20 screwdrivers here. I apparently over the years, because I had a roll around chest and I just filled it up, and then I had several tool bags and I filled those up, and then I had those things that fit over a 5-gallon bucket and I filled those up, and it was actually borderline humorous and ridiculous how many tools I had. So I have sold some of them because I'll never, even if I get something with a attached garage, I probably, at the age I am, I probably will not need a bench grinder or a vise or even a workbench. Now my son, he wasn't interested in the grinder, but he may, at some point, he may have a workbench, and he took the big roll around tool chest, and he is starting to, because I've given them to him, he is starting to accumulate a lot of tools. And I don't want to say he's about as organized as I am. So we're really close on the same page there. But nobody needs that many tools. And I mean, I haven't been in a trade that needs tools for 20 years. So why do I have so many? But I do. So that was, and tools are heavy. Tools are very heavy to move. And Carlos made it in. Hi, Sly. How you doing, Carlos? It's been a busy couple of weeks, and it's been a good couple of weeks. Do you have any idea when you're coming to Oklahoma? I think I've got a lot coming up. My daughter is going on vacation to, I think, Oregon in October. And so I'm babysitting for a week. And then once we actually close, I'm taking my son for probably a 3 or 4 day trip to Kentucky to go kayaking in a cave. I think that just sounds like so much fun. And I haven't decided if we're driving or flying. So it kind of depends on how far it is. Because with him, he can drive halfway, I can drive halfway, we can kind of give each other breaks. And now, in my daughter's car, we could give each other breaks, but she can't drive my truck, so my son can. So, yeah, we haven't really finalized whether we're driving or flying on that trip, but after this trip we just took, I'm kind of a proponent for driving, just because you can take so much more stuff. And this time of year, the temperature can be really hot during the day, short and t-shirt weather, and then really, really chilly at night. And I have seen it drop like 40 degrees from the daytime to the nighttime temperatures. So you go from shorts and a t-shirt to freezing at night if you don't take like a hoodie and some long pants and what have you. So you do have to kind of pack a little bit extra than if like you just knew it was going to be hot the whole time you were there. So like Florida, I don't think they have the temperature differences that we have here in the Midwest. I do have a question for some of you guys, and I don't know if you guys are going to know this or not because I certainly don't. We passed so many cornfields where they didn't harvest the corn. They just let it die. What is going on with that? I mean, we passed like cornfield after cornfield after cornfield that had not been harvested and it was dead. So, yeah, what is up with that? I blew my mind. Carlos says, was in Yosemite last week. Was hot but awesome. Yes. Well, we are experiencing fall early this year, and it is absolutely fantastic because the temperatures are starting to cool down. And so, I think 87 has been the high, which is cool here. And then we've got rain this week, and so it's supposed to be bringing the temperatures down further, which for September, usually we have fairly hot weather. It's everybody thinks August is the hottest month, but September is normally equally hot, and it starts to cool down about a week or two before October. And because if you buy Halloween costumes at the beginning of October, because it's really hot and you think, oh, that's cute, and they can just wear that. Well, by Halloween, it's gotten cold, and so you end up having to put a jacket or something over the wee little. So, but that's normally how it runs. This year, we're getting cooler temperatures a lot faster. So there is that. I'm also changing internet providers. They thought they could just come out and hook it up like in a day or two, and they can't. They're having to bury the line from 2 yards over, I think. So they're having to go under 2 fences and then across my yard and then up to the house. So they came out and they marked Friday, but they have not dug yet. So they will have to do the digging and everything before I can get it. So it could take up to a month, but it should be more reliable. If you remember the last time I went live, we lost signal about this time. And they said it's because the cable I'm on has such high usage that it drops everybody's speed so much. Well, the new one is fiber, and it's supposed to be like a direct line. Yeah, I don't know if I'm buying into all that, but we'll see. We'll see if it works better. So, but yeah, tell me about Yosemite. I've never been, and I would love to see it. That's why I'm kind of thinking I might take some time off and drive like out to Las Vegas and then drive up north and kind of see that part of the country. Years and years and years ago, another lifetime ago, I drove a truck cross country, a semi. And so I got to see like the whole United States, which was great, but I didn't really get to do a lot of exploring, So now I would like to revisit some of those places and get to explore things a little bit. So instead of just watch other people do it on YouTube. So, but, and then there is also, it's not really the safest thing to go by yourself. But I don't really want to take anybody with me. My children have to work. And so, they're good for a day or two off work, but they can't really be taking a month or two off work. So, yeah, we'll have to kind of see how that goes. But yeah, let me know, Carlos, when you head to Oklahoma, and I will do my best to meet you. Yeah, it's only a couple hours, if that. See, I am drinking plenty of water. I do feel completely over the heat exhaustion. Um, it kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of makes your blood feel thin for a couple of days. And when that was on Tuesday, and Wednesday I don't think I took a day off. I think I was right back at it Wednesday. Um, so, just pushing myself a little too hard, but I got everything done. And that was the big thing. So, Carlos, when you traveled to Yosemite, did you take suitcase, backpack, duffel bag? What is your preferred? I'm assuming you drove. Um, so, what is your preferred luggage when you drive? Now, my daughter going to Oregon, she's going to fly. And so they're going to, I think, check a bag and then they'll each have a backpack, which is what I do when I fly. I check a bag and then I have a backpack that has to fit under the seat in front of me. So I have my laptop and, all the cords and cables and keyboards and mouse and everything that goes with all that. So, and then I think the last trip I took, I actually took these little Osbots because the laptop has a really good camera in it, but these are even better. And so I basically just used the laptop for the screen and the hard drive, and it worked out really well. Speaking of, there's Uncle G. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great week so far. It has been a fantastic week. I think when Sunday night when I got home, I was so tired. I cannot tell you how many times I went up and down steps because they do, if you've ever been to Great Wolf Lodge, they have a quest for the children, and they have all these animated things that you take this wand and you tap it, and the thing gives you directions on what to do next or what you have to find or what quest you're on or whatever. And so there's basically, for the most part, there's 2 floors, and each floor has 2 wings of the hotel. So you'll do a quest and you'll be on level 2A, and the next thing you have to find is on 3B, and then the next thing you have to find is on 3A, and then the next thing will be on 2B. And so you're constantly, for hours on end, going up and down steps. And now I will say I cheated a few times and took the elevator. And going down the steps was fine. I could do that all day. It was going up the steps. And they're not just like an 8-foot flight of steps, because the hotel is like got 12-foot ceilings or whatever. So you're going up a flight and a half of steps every time. And then plus the water park. So yeah, Granny got her exercise this week. And I was very, very surprised. My knees kind of bothered me a little bit, but I was very surprised my calf muscles didn't hurt, which you would think going up and down that many steps. But so yeah, and then Monday I went down and got another load and brought the I've just got a little bit of like piddly stuff down there, and a lady wants to buy a fan. I haven't been able to figure out how to get the fan up here, but just piddly stuff now. So it was a lot of exercise. And so today I had told myself Tuesday, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to putter around the house. I didn't really eat too much today. I really kind of thought I would be hungrier than I was. But if I'm not hungry, I can't make myself eat. So it's not like, so when I got hungry, I ate. But I had a really light breakfast and then dinner. And that was, pretty much all I had today. But I didn't do anything. I did about 1 o'clock. I did go in and take a nap. So, naps are my friend. And so now I feel like I'm completely recovered from the weekend and from the week last week. And so, yeah, I'm actually feeling really great. So, but uh, to my son who thinks I don't exercise enough, trust me, I do. And I really, uh, I was able to keep up pretty well with a 6-year-old and a 30-year-old. So I'm pretty happy with myself. No, I think my daughter, because she did have to keep, she forgot her bathing suit and she forgot, um, I don't know what else, but anyway, she ended up having to go to the store several times because she forgot stuff. Oh, toothbrush. She forgot her toothbrush. And she packed everything for her son, but she forgot to pack everything for her. And so she had to keep going to the store. But so she probably did a little bit more than I did because while she was at the store, we were just usually chilling in the hotel room or on a doing part of the quest or whatever. So and then I think it was Saturday night, I cried uncle and said I've got to go get off my knees for a little bit, and I flat smooth fell asleep. But then I was up for, you know, kind of late on Saturday while they were sleeping. I was kind of wide awake and because I'd had a nap. So, but it was a great, great weekend. Everybody had a lot of fun. And so, yeah, the next trip will probably be Kentucky. I'm hoping. So I'm hoping we hear something this week. The contract expires this week. So let's hope everybody gets in gear and does what they're supposed to do. But so Randy, I know you have driven several times to Arizona. I have not heard, and when you went to see Peter, you drove. I haven't heard of you flying very much. Um, so is car travel your preferred way to travel? And if you take an airplane, do you have different luggage that you take on the plane than you do in the car? That's kind of, you know. Oh, and Toast, what kind of tools are you shopping for? Because I'm like the tool queen, so um, I probably have had it or sold it. I sold a welder. Okay. Many, many, many years ago, I used to make these coat racks out of horseshoes. Like it's like on a piece of wood, and you take horseshoes, and you'll have, I don't know, 8 or something, and then you take and cut a horseshoe in half, and that's the part that you hang the coat on. And so you weld it to the other part. So anyway, long story short. So I had a cracker box welder, and I'll probably, like I said, I don't know if I'll ever have a garage again. So I sold my welder, and a lot of that stuff was 20 or 30 years old. So even though it still worked and it still worked pretty well, uh, if I decide to go into welding again, which I seriously doubt, I'll just buy another one. But there's no sense in really heavy, big stuff like that. There's really no sense in moving it if it's not something you use a lot. So I did keep my 2 computers because I really don't use the PC very often because that has become my grandson's computer. And so I'm pretty much, if I'm in here, I'm on the Mac and he's on the PC. And so it just works out well. I just hit checkout on a Slugger magnetic drill press. Okay. Um, oh, butts for it and a drill chuck adapter. So I sold a Shopsmith, which is it's kind of like the Ronco Do-It-All. The Shopsmith had the drill press and the lathe and the table saw and just what else did it have? It had a planer, a bandsaw. It kind of does. it was designed for people that wanted a full shop and all the tools that go in a woodworking shop, but didn't have the space to dedicate for a station for each thing. And I had bought it back, oh my goodness, back in the 90s, I think, early 90s. And things still ran like a champ, but it extremely big and heavy to move, and I hadn't really used it in 10 years, so it was time to buy it, to sell it. But that's cool. A magnetic drill press. Bits for it and a drill chuck adapter. Okay. I don't know what a magnetic drill press would be. Because, like, my shopsmith had a drill press, but it wasn't magnetic. So that's kind of interesting. I may have to look that up. Randy says, I flew to Arizona when my mother was dying, drove back to San Antonio with her car. Okay. Until that flight, it was 40 years since I flew last. Yeah. Until I started going back and forth to Las Vegas, I don't think I had flown in 20 years. Now I'm a, what do they call it, where you can go to the beginning of the line. I'm TSA approved or whatever. So I don't have to wait in those long lines. I can just kind of skedaddle on through because I have flown so much. Apparently I'm not a flight risk. So I can kind of skate through TSA. But did you take different luggage when you flew due to weight and size restrictions? Or do you just take a little bag anyway? So that's kind of... I was really digging when I was packing. Of course, I use packing cubes, but when I was packing, it was so nice. I mean, 32 liters is too much. I did not need that much. Probably a 20 to 25 liter duffel would be plenty for a weekend trip. And then, now that's saying having stuff in my backpack, like cameras and electronic stuff, like that. Randy says, I'd rather drive. Sleep for 2 hours every 8 hours of driving. When in an area for a while, then I stay at a hotel. Yes. So I have done that when I have been by myself. When I made the Florida trip, I took somebody with me. And so you can't really, number one, she couldn't drive my truck, so I did all the driving. And you can't really pull off when you've got somebody with you and get any good quality sleep, like the 2 hours. And so I would plan hotels with about 8 or 9 hours of driving. And then we'd stop and get a hotel. And so it worked well, but it's almost easier when you travel by yourself, I think. Randy says, clothes and a toothbrush, no cameras. Well, I don't know if these really count. I mean, I don't have it in here with me, but I have found a Mystery Ranch Mission Control, the small one, and it is absolutely the perfect size. I mean, it was like they made it for action cameras. You can get 2 action cameras in there. The little ZDO tripod thing. Because each action camera takes different batteries. So you can... Now, the 5 will take the 4. They just don't last as long as the 5 that are for this one. So I've got 2 batteries, or 2 battery cases, and then the microphones. And I mean, everything fits in there. And the way it zips up, I really should have brought that in here. The way it zips up, instead of it opening, I don't have one up here at all. Anyway, instead of it opening in the center and then like fanning out, how most electronic organizers and stuff do, it opens on the front. Tell you what, give me just a second and I'll go get it because it is absolutely fantastic. All right. So most electronic organizers have like a zipper in the middle and then maybe some pockets or something on one side. This is my, whoop, what happened? Technical difficulties. This is my wandered one, and it'll hold the 2 action cameras and stuff, but it doesn't have as much room, and it does have the gussets on the side so nothing falls out. But, and I do like those, and I have carried the wandered bag for my camera stuff for a lot until I found this. And this is the Mystery Ranch Mission Control. But if you look at the side, see how the zipper is angled? So when you open it, you have, I don't know, it almost feels like you have so much more space. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. I should be able to figure out how to do this, right? Okay. So this side is like deeper, obviously. Let's see if I can turn this kind of inside out. But it's got 2 pockets over here, and so the action cameras just fit perfect. It's really hard to show that, but so they fit perfect. And then I've got 2 sets of batteries, my light, which we ended up needing because it was kind of dark in the hotel, my little ZDO tripod thing, and then my my DJI mic minis, which attach via Bluetooth to the camera. So, but because of the way the zipper is done, when you close this all up, you've used pretty much every bit of the space because of that angled zipper. I mean, this is a brilliant design. I don't know why people have not come up with this before. So, and they're not that expensive. From what I understand from reading things on different social medias, Mystery Ranch was bought out by Yeti, and Yeti is discontinuing all the stuff branded Mystery Ranch for the consumer. Now they're going to keep the Mystery Ranch name for the government contracts, but as far as for the consumer stuff, it'll probably be really close to the same products, but instead of saying Mystery Ranch, it'll say Yeti on it. So, so you can pick up some Mystery Ranch stuff right now kind of cheap because they're trying to get rid of anything that's branded Mystery Ranch. So I probably will get another one of those. This is the small, if you can believe that. This is the medium wandered. Okay, so the Mystery Ranch small is not small. It's actually bigger than the medium. So I probably, before they do away with them, I probably will get another small and a medium just to see what the medium is, because these are fantastic for packing not just action cameras, but you could use this for a DOP kit too. Just, it doesn't hang, but you know. Carlos says, I hate traveling with luggage, so I use a Witzman travel backpack, which is a carry-on backpack that fits everything I need. I vacuum pack my clothing as well. So yeah, I don't vacuum pack it. I just have the compression cubes, and I mean it's perfect. You know, now I do have some travel backpacks. The Core Surface, obviously my favorite. I think I've said that many times. I have a travel, I can't even remember the brand now, but its claim to fame is that you can lock everything, and excuse me, the backpack itself, empty, is one of the heaviest backpacks I own. So when you put a lot of clothes and stuff in it, I want to start off with something that doesn't weigh very much. But I like the Core Surfs. I had an alpaca, not alpaca, I'm sorry, Cotopaxi Alpa 28, and my Core Surf that I favor is a 28. And when you would hold them side by side, because the Cotopaxi had that coating on the front, it made it a lot heavier, empty. And so that's one thing I look for, is when it's empty, it has to be really lightweight. Randy says, I took a lot of stuff when going back to San Antonio and the car was full. Yeah, that's when you're kind of going out and moving somebody. I can't tell you how many times I filled up my truck. I did have some help last week, and the lady that helped me had a full-size truck. Still a 6-foot bed, which I have a 6-foot bed, but because it was a full-size truck, her sidewalls were almost twice what mine are. And so we could get a whole lot more stuff in there. And she didn't have a topper on it, which I have a topper. And so I'm really limited to the depth of the truck bed. Now, obviously I've taken the topper off several times when I'm hauling furniture and stuff, but I was just kind of amazed at how much I could get in her truck versus mine. And so it really, plus having another set of hands, it really made stuff go a lot faster. Toast says, mag drills are great for when I can't bring the piece to a drill press, often due to size. I can bring the drill press to the piece as long as the piece is steel. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look that up. Because, not that I would ever need it, but I don't need to have 80 tool sets either, but I do. So, Randy says, looks like a great deal of Mystery Ranch. Yeah, this thing, I'm surprised I haven't told you about it before, because when I got it, my expectations were not very high. And I started, I lay out, this is pretty much what I take everywhere, because I take 2 action cameras, and it's got a zipper thing, which you can't really see very well. It's kind of hidden, but it's got a zippered pocket right here, and so that's where I keep my memory cards. So yeah, and it keeps them out of the way and they don't fall out. But it's just I don't know, I can't say enough good things about this thing. I'm really liking Mystery Ranch, and I hate that they were sold by to Yeti. But apparently the guy that started Mystery Ranch is in his 80s or something, and he wanted to retire, so that's why he sold it. And then, once a company buys another company, they can do with what they want to. So I think they're going to keep a lot of the Mystery Ranch packs and stuff, but they're just going to, instead of be branded Mystery Ranch, they're going to be branded Yeti. So same stuff. But a lot of people are upset that the guy, and I can't remember his name, Dana, maybe, that he sold. But this is like his 3rd company that he has started and gotten to be kind of big and then sold, and the guy is 80. So let him retire. Let him enjoy his life. He's very wealthy now, by the way. Jeff made it in. G'day, Sly. Busy. I just arrived home. How are you doing? And how has everyone been? So Jeff made it back from his vacation in Turkey. And I maybe next week, Jeff, we'll just kind of plan. I may send you an email, and because I would love to hear about your trip. I don't know how you can show us pictures just from being a guest. So I don't really know how that works. Um, you might have to send them to me and then I put them up. I'm not sure. Carlos says, when road tripping, I map out lots of trails so I can overnight it and avoid hotels if I can. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of, I like, especially after driving for 8 or 10 hours, I like taking a hot shower. So I'm going to probably stop every night. I'm not a big camper because I like a hot shower. And I have always been that way. I've never been a big camping person. Now, if I had a like a travel trailer or something that had facilities in it, then I'd probably be just fine. But otherwise, I just try to find a hotel that's not the Ritz and but has a hot shower. That's kind of my only criteria. So, how was your trip? Randy's asking you too. Um, how was your trip, and did you take a lot of pictures? And how did everything go? Did it work the way you expected it to? Or was it like a live stream and you had some faux And Mr. Lazuka made it in. How are you, Lewis? I'm so glad you came in. He says, I'm so happy to hear that you're doing well. Love you so much. Love you too, buddy. Hello, family. What is your travel EDC camera? I'm liking the EOS M and 22 or 24 millimeter pancake lens. So and I wish I'd had some of these pictures ready for you. I just kind of downloaded them today. Where we went has this ginormous water park. It's huge and it's very, very wet. So they have like water spraying out of fountains and buckets dumping on your head, and you cannot be in the water park area and not get wet. So for me, an action camera is the only way to go because I could take video of the hotel as well as the water park, and I didn't have to worry if my camera was getting wet. So I do love my M cameras, but they do not stand the water at all. So I've pretty much they pretty much just sit on a shelf now. I pretty much just use the Osmo 4 and 5, but the 6 is coming out, I think, the middle of October. And so I am saving my pennies because the 6 is mine. It's supposed, I don't know all the specs on it yet. They're out there, but until I have it in my hand, I don't want to say it's got this, this, and this because I don't know. And apparently there's supposed to be two versions of the 6, like an Osmo Action 6 and an Osmo Action 6 Pro. And so there's about $100 discrepancy between the two. So I don't want to say what it has until I have it in my hand and I know what it has. But yeah, for me, I'll probably sell something. But the Osmo 6, I have been waiting and waiting and waiting. And so when it comes out, I will be jumping on that one because I cannot say enough about these little cameras. But yes, I have the 22 and the 24. I think the 22 is an M lens and the 24 is an EO is the S, I think. EFS. So I have to use an adapter. I know it's one way or the other. I have to use an adapter with one of them. I have both the 22 and the 24, and one of them I have to use an adapter. The other one is an M lens. Randy says 20 millimeter for vlogging and all-in-one zoom 24 to 240. So Randy, you've got longer arms than I do. Because if I put an 11 millimeter on there, I still have to stick it out just a little bit. Otherwise, I'm like way too close. So, I've got these little bitty short arms, and even having an action camera on two times was too close. So it does pretty well when it's on one, like not zoomed at all, like. But I do have kind of short arms. They're not real long. So um, the longer your arms, the further you can get the camera away from you. So it's short people don't stand a chance. Jeff says, I can send some to you via Gmail. Not time to even look over 2,000 raw files to sort through videos. Turkey is a must-see. Loved every bit and made some friends over there. Yes, I made some acquaintances at Great Wolf. I was hoping they would come in tonight. They didn't, but or I haven't seen them yet. But um, 2,000 raw files. Yeah. So Jeff, that's something. I mean, we were only gone for 2 full days, and I have got hours of video because I just turned it on and let it run, and sometimes little man took it and ran with it, which is good to see a different perspective because everything I shoot is basically from my perspective. And so it was good to let somebody else hold the camera so you get a different angle and different views of stuff. So that's really cool. So yes, Turkey is a must see. That's so cool. I can't wait to see some pictures, Jeff. Um, Randy, if you ever get the chance to go, it's a must-see, and the people and culture is amazing. So, yeah, I may have to put that on my bucket list, Jeff. I want to explore the like the castles in Europe, and so and Ireland and Scotland and kind of that whole region. I figure that'll be a 2-month trip, and that's on my bucket list, and so I may have to add Turkey. Randy's giving you a thumbs up. And Carlos says, I seriously can't see when I will ever upgrade from my Pocket 3. I'm finding so many creative ways to film with it. So they're coming out with a, it's not a new Pocket 3, like a Pocket 4. They've come out, and I think it's already out. I think it came out this week. They've come out with the Nano that is very comparable to the Insta360 Go. You know, that little, when it first came out, I think it was white. Now I think there's a black version. But, and Insta360 has upgraded the Go. They now have a Go 2 that fits in a little holder that has a little screen that pops up. But they don't have you can't take the batteries out. You charge the camera, the whole thing. And I like being able to take the batteries out and put a fresh battery in, which I was kind of amazed at how long the battery lasted on the 5. They did really well. So now I didn't have it on like nonstop, but it was on a lot. And you also have to be careful with when you're in crowds. You don't want to videotape other people or other people's children, right? So you kind of have to be careful. But I was just amazed at how long the battery actually lasted. And so for me, personally, I love the form factor of the Go 2 and the new DJI, but I don't think I would like not being able to change the battery. So I think it would be like headphones. I think it would just die too fast. And if that's the only one you took, then you'd just be SOL until you got it recharged. So I don't think that's something I'm interested in. We'll see. Never say never, right? But I mean, because it would be nice. I do wear a hat a lot, and it would be nice just to be able to clip something on the bill and not think about it. But then again, like in the situation I was in this weekend, you have to be very careful about who you're filming, especially children. So yeah, I think I'll stick with my Osmo. I am definitely 100% going to get the Osmo 6 when it comes out. Um, I've been waiting, and I had some issues with the 5. They've pretty much fixed most of that with firmware, but I still want the 6. So, yeah, we'll see. Carlos says, was able to shoot some climbers on El Capitan. Got some great shots of those crazy people hanging out 2,000 feet up. That is one of the things about having an actual camera. You can zoom in so much farther than you can with an action camera. So, it's a give and take. If there are times, like my son, I bought him a Canon SX740 HS that has like a 40 times zoom on it. And so that thing is fantastic for, if we're somewhere and you want to take a shot like of the climbers, okay, you can really zoom in. I think that thing goes up to like a quarter mile or something. It's ridiculous how good the zoom on that is, but you can't get it around water. So it's a give and take. I think the perfect scenario for me would be my action camera first, and then probably a point and shoot with ridiculous zoom. He's going to take his to Colorado. I'm going to give him one of my action cameras to take, and so he can get some good shots. And I'll probably throw in a microphone too for him, maybe. I don't know. He's not about all that. Like, he doesn't want to have all that gear. He just wants to pull out a camera when he wants it. But the action camera is so, it's got that Rocksteady and Rocksteady Plus. And so when you're walking down a trail, even though you're kind of bouncing around and stumbling, the camera's not. And so action cameras are just really good for outdoor photography if you're not standing still. And you don't need to like zoom in on that waterfall or, whatever. So, but that's really cool. I wouldn't be hanging out 2,000 feet up. No, that's it. I love the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Combo. It's a really good camera. I think somebody said they were going to come out with a new one. I can't give you a time frame because I don't remember. I know the Nano was not expected at all. I think it's called the DJI Nano. And it was like, there was no rumors. It was completely hush-hush, and it was kept hush-hush. Now, the Osmo Action 6, there have been rumors out the wazoo on when it's going to be released, what it's going to have in it, yada, yada, yada. But the Nano has been really kept under wraps. And I'm sure there's a market for it, but I'm just not sure it's me. And Carlos says, exactly, Randy. Jeff says, for Christians, it is full history. St. Paul in the book of Acts went to Turkey. Places like Antioch, Ephesus, Cappadocia, and so many more. They call it the Second Jerusalem. Hours of video as well. Yeah, that's a once in a lifetime vacation, Jeff. You should have videos and pictures, and and that is one thing that I did take a few still pictures, but mainly video, and it's just for the family. I will edit the video down to where it's watchable, so 20 or 30 minutes, and then send it to each of the kids so they can see. And then my grandson will have a record of that. I don't want to make it public because there was way too many children in it. So, but for the family to be able to upload it to YouTube and send it to them, I mean, it's just how much easier could it get? So I have a whole section that's just family, and it's all unlisted, and I send them the link, and they can watch it as much as they want, or usually they watch it once, and so a lot of work for me, but it's a labor of love. Randy says the Sony RX 107 and it does everything for traveling. Yes, I want one of those, but they have gotten ridiculous in price. Plus, the Pocket 3 and DJI Mic 2 is all you need. The Mic 2 is actually on sale because they have come out with, I can't remember the name of it, but the Mic 2 is now, I think, $100 off. And it is a phenomenal mic. Somewhere around here, I have a Mic 2. Didn't really tell you where it is. Oh, yeah. It's the same form factor basically as the original, but, and so I use the Mic Mini more than the Mic 2, and I have this cute little silicone case on it. But for me, oh, right here. For me, the Mic Mini it's just easier. And they both connect via Bluetooth to the Osmo Action cameras. And boom, I'm mic'd up. Just that quick. And as soon as you turn this on, it connects. If the camera's on, it connects immediately to the camera. So you just get better audio than you do with the built-in mic. But the Mic 2 and the Mic Mini may be on sale, but I know the Mic 2 is. I get notified a lot trying to sell me another Mic 2 set. So I have these cute little silicone things for it. I have it's kind of a gray. It's not really white. It's kind of gray. But they just protect the mic a little bit. But it is such a much bigger microphone. I mean, that's a lot bigger. You know, it's just a lot more intrusive, I guess. So I like the Mic Mini. But I have heard they are coming out with a new mic system. So be interested to see what it is. Where did I go? Carlos says, that's so cool, Jeff. I know lots of people travel there for the Paul journey. Yes. Yes, I have heard the same. A lot of my theologians, that Turkey is on their list. They also have many other places that they like to go overseas. I lost my magnet. I'll find it later. Let's see, where was I? Randy says, Jeff, put the videos and pics up onto your YouTube channel. Yes. I don't know if you have editing software. I've lost my magnet. I know it's here somewhere. It's stupid how OCD I am. Can't put it back in the case without the magnet. Okay. Randy says $13.45 at my local camera store now for sale. Yeah, and when they came out, I think they were like $11.98, and so they just keep getting higher and higher. And I'm sure some of it is probably due to the tariffs. I don't know, but you know, that's realistically, that's about a $700 or $800 camera, and they're charging $13.45 for it. So, yeah. Carlos says that's definitely on my bucket list to see Turkey. Yeah, I might have to add that. The RX 107 for $13.45. Yes. So I've looked at the 5. I really think the 7 is probably the one I want. And the reason I like the RX, I think, doesn't it have the flip up screen versus the flip out? Like the ZV-1 has the flip out. I don't really care for the flip out screens. I like the flip up. And I think the RX series is the flip up. Randy's saying, Jeff, use the Apple photo program to do a slideshow of your pics. I will do another video on how to do this. Awesome. My phone does it automatically. I just put pictures in and it makes a slideshow. So it would be nice to have a little bit of more control over over how it puts the pictures in order. Carlos says, I'd love to go to Malta, where St. Paul was stranded. Is that, I don't know where Malta is, Carlos. And Randy says, yes, tilty screen. Yeah, that's why I like it. So, Osmo Action 6 first, and then I may save my pennies up and try to get the Sony. But really, I sold the G7X, and I probably sold it too cheap, but I sold it within 2 hours. So yeah, I probably sold it too cheap, but I still have the ZV-1. It's just not my favorite camera. So it hung up above me for a couple of years because it does really good zoom, and it has that product showcase feature, so it zooms on the product really good. But these little Osbot 4K cameras, they're the bomb diggity. I love these things. They're such a small form factor, and they just sit here. Now, you can't take them and go anywhere else with them, but I mean, for this, it's absolutely perfect, and they're not expensive. And so I haven't had one fail me yet, but when it does, just replace it with another one. So, yeah, I'm just kind of amazed with these things. But guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I am so happy to see everybody. Jeff, I'm so glad you made it back from Turkey, safe and sound in one piece, and can't wait to see the pictures. Carlos, Randy, thank you so much for coming in. Toast, always good to see you, buddy. And Hal, thanks for stopping by. I know it's kind of late on the East Coast right now, but that's okay. Thanks for coming in and saying hey. And we'll do this again next week. Maybe I'll have some good news that the house is finally closed. I'm so waiting for that. But and then I start traveling. Once I can get that behind me, then I will start. I'm going to go to Kentucky, Las Vegas. And there was a third one in there. I can't remember now where it was. But and going to be doing a little bit of traveling coming up. So Carlos says, Malta is just south of Italy's Sicily, small island in the Mediterranean. Oh yeah. I would love to go to Italy too. So yeah, I'm all about that kind of that whole area of the world. Italy, France, England, Ireland, that whole kind of, I don't know what you'd call that. The middle of the world? I guess it depends on which side you're on. I don't know. But Randy's saying good night. Carlos is saying peace, everyone. Yes, definitely. And we'll do this again next week. And everybody have a fantastic week. And thank you so much for taking your time out and hanging with me. I really appreciate it. And I enjoy you guys so much. So until next week, have a great week and a great weekend. And happy birthday to my little man. So good night, everybody.